All right, Kara, this looks like a show I could totally get sucked into, and I got sucked into it yesterday. I watched the whole thing.
I know you love your true crime, and VH1 has a new series, Infamy, When Fame Turns Deadly.
We are so thrilled to be joined by the host, multi-platinum selling R&B artist, Monica. Monica, how are you? We love you.
I'm doing so good. I love you guys too. And I heard you say you are a true crime series fan.
I watched the whole thing with Lorenzen Wright, and I couldn't believe what was happening. I don't know if we're allowed to disclose the ending, but you did a remarkable job, and the story is just wild.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lorenzen Wright's story is really wild, and it's so devastating when you think of those that are left behind. You know what I love so much about Infamy is it does give you the opportunity to know the victim a bit better. And then you also get to see how life-changing and tragic it was for those that truly love them. Mm-hmm. That's what drew me to Infamy the most, the amount of information you get about the person and not just the tragedy that took their lives.
You know, and so many people want to be famous, right? All the young people look on Instagram, oh, I just want to be them. And yet this really explores a dark side of fame, which you might be familiar with in part just because you've been in the spotlight. What do we learn about what it's really like to be famous?
Well, you learn that being famous, you could very easily become a target without reason. These aren't all people that had issues or were considered to have beef. Some of them were robberies. Some were just targeted. You look at Young Greatness. He was killed leaving a Waffle House, something any of us could be doing after a night out at a game or something of sorts. But that look into who people really are or were, to me, it connects with the heart more. And so Monday nights, I'm hoping that when people sit in front of their televisions at 10 p.m., they start to feel a connection to each victim that we speak about, that we teach you about, that we allow you to see everything from childhood pictures and explain where they grew up to the people that actually gave birth to them and the people that are still mourning their loss.
You know, I didn't realize it until after the show ended, you know, as you said, the consequences of the people that are left behind. I think Lorenzen, he had 6 children, and now they don't have a mother or a father.
Absolutely. And as people watch, I think the transparency and the way that we explain to you just how deep some of these levels of hatred and hurt, and some of it becomes, you see, crimes of passion. When you see all these different elements, it really does kind of grab you and shake you a bit. And when you think of the idea of being famous, it looks very fun, but there's another side to it. And this is one of them that Infamy exposes.
And the first episode we were able to see, but what are some of the other people you're going to profile in the series?
Oh, there are a lot of different people from different walks of life. Young Greatness, rapper. Sean Trey, who was affectionately called Puff, was a DJ, and his story was quite a tangled web. I cannot wait for people to get to know each of these 8 very talented individuals who lost their lives in some very tragic ways.
What was it that, you know, I know you elaborated a little bit on this, but what was it specifically that said, this is a project that I want to do? I want to tell these stories.
Honestly, my being a fan of shows very similar. I'm a big fan of First 48, Snapped. I grew up watching America's Most Wanted. When you have those shows as references, it gave me a lot to dig from, to pull from. You know that you want to speak on the dead respectfully, but then you become connected to them when you're studying them to explain it to other people. So for me, it was just my love of true crime shows prior that made me say, this is something that I want to try. This is something that I want to do. And I absolutely fell in love with doing the job. It is very different than what I do on a regular basis.
Yeah, and speaking of what you do on a regular basis, what else are you working on? Do you have new music coming out or are, other things in addition to Infamy?
Absolutely. If you follow me at Monica Denise on all platforms, I try to keep people as updated as possible because I took a really long time finishing my album Trenches, but real life was happening to me too. My uncle was killed and a lot of different things prolonged me moving at the pace I initially was planning to, but now the Trenches is being mixed and mastered. I'm very proud to be releasing the next single. And then Apple Music and I partnered for Mo Talk. Mo Talk is basically me switching seats. I'll be interviewing comedians, actors, actresses, athletes, musicians, giving them a safe place and space to talk about what's actually happening in their lives. Because now people talk so recklessly about us. This will be a place for them to tell who they are, what is true, what isn't true. And they know that I will understand exactly what it is that they're trying to share with the people.
Well, you've come a long way from Charles Thompson and the Majestics when you were 10, and we are so proud of your success.
Yes. Thank you.
It was really nice to talk with you, and good luck with the show.
Thank you so much. Nice to talk to you guys. Mondays at 10 p.m. Tune in to VH1. I'll see you guys there.
Okay, we're looking
Thank
forward
you,
to
Monica.
it. Very talented.
Yes,
very
she is. Well, I can
talented.
understand why they would have her sit the other side because she's not only a great musician, but she's very eloquent the way she speaks.
Yes, and her voiceovers. You know, you don't see a whole lot of her, but you hear a substantial amount from her because she's voicing over all of the tracks and things. So it's really, it is an incredible show. I said, I opened it up. I said, it's 43 minutes, the screener that we got. And I was like, it was over in a second. And I was like, there we go.
Those are the best kind of shows,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.